My topic today is a topic on faith, entitled Faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. No matter how much you want to achieve and reach the point of life that you want to achieve, it takes faith. For the believer and the unbeliever, they both, even if they don't realize it, they exercise faith. They do exercise faith. They exercise faith in their belief of what they want. Because as Sir Mo says in his presentation, you ask for something, whether you're a believer or not, you ask for it on the basis of faith. And you'd have to do something for that faith to be enacted so that you can receive what you have asked for. It will not come to you. Faith without works is dead. I was talking to a person this week, and we're talking about faith, that you just ask God for things. So I said we should ask God for things and we receive it. And I said, where in the Bible did you see that? Because the Bible said that go to the ant, you sluggard. So if it says go to the ants, you sluggard, it shows you that God is not going to feed any lazy person. You have to do something, because if he says the ants is doing something in order to get its food, why you believe just asking him? You will get yours. Go to the ants, you sluggard. It's saying that you have to do something in order to receive what you want and in order to receive what you're asking for. Because faith works by action. If you do not move in the path of faith, what you're asking for will not come to you. Says it's as if you want to drive to New York, but you say you want to drive to New York. You can continue saying that from now until next year if you don't get up out of the bed or get up off the seat or couch or wherever you're sitting, go to the bathroom, get yourself ready, take the car key, go through the door, then open the car door, go in the car, start the car, reverse the car, drive the car. You're not going to go anywhere. So your works plays out in getting what you need. You need to get to New York. You have to do all these things to get to New York. You cannot just talk about it and get there. So when you ask for something by faith, faith is demanding that you do something to receive what you have asked for. James 2:14 says, what it is good, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but do not have works, can your faith save you? In the matter of salvation, just talking about believing Jesus Christ cannot save you. But I'm not talking in that aspect. I'm talking in the sense that we ask for things. We ask for good health, but we sit down expecting that we're going to get good health. No exercise, no eating properly, no doing the right things, and persons laughing at me. Don't doing the right things. And we continue to do the wrong things, expecting that we're going to be healthy. You have high cholesterol, you're eating cheesecake. And you're eating cheesecake. They're laughing at me. It's when you're doing a sermon and the sermon is reflecting on you. It's not nice. But you like cheesecake. You love cheesecake, but you have high cholesterol. You have to forego the cheesecake. But if you don't forego the cheesecake, your cholesterol will develop. And then you will have an heart attack. So you have to put in works in avoiding eating the cheesecake. And I tell you, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to avoid it. I love cheesecake. But in order for good health, I have to avoid cheesecake. So I'm not just talking about faith. In terms of your own health, you have to work. to keep yourself healthy. And you have to believe by faith, by what you're doing, that God is there with you to help you along the path, to give you. So when you drop off, you expect faith to come in to do the rest of the work. Because we know that we are not 100% perfect, but we must strive for perfection through Jesus Christ, through the faith that we have. So if we ask for something, it means that we must do something in order to get it. And if you will have some persons ask to receive things and they do nothing to get it. They're expecting now somebody to come and hand it to them. Go to the ant, you sluggard. God does not feed lazy people. It means you have to do something. So if you ask for something, God already know who he wants to give that something to you. But you need to ask in order for it to be carried out. So your faith and your actions have to go together in order for you to receive the gift that God has for you. The gift not going to come without you doing something, because it is in you doing something. Is in us doing something that the person who want to give something will know. So in other words, you're hungry. I have my pocket full of cash. My belly is full. I have a BMW outside. You are standing in front of me. You're hungry. And you're there talking about God and the gospel and the doctrines. But you're hungry. I'm listening to the doctrines. My belly is full. I have a BMW. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go. Oh, my fridge is full of food. My pocket is loaded with money. You are hungry. Nice doctrine. I like that. Man becoming God. Awesome. I've never seen that scripture that way. Well, I'm leaving now. Is everything okay? Yes, it is okay. Just, you're hungry. Why don't you say I'm hungry? My pocket is loaded with money, man. If the person say, I don't have anything to eat. I really am backed up with bills. You say, now the money in your pocket start to tingle. And you said, how can I help this brother? And you say to the person, he said, I do good with $100. And he said, in your mind, you're not thinking to give him $100, but you said $100. I said, oh, you say $100. I'm gonna give you a double portion on what you ask. You have it that way, you give it. But if you say nothing, how am I going to know? And then now and then this is what I see with persons. They have an expectation of you inside their head, but you can't read the expectation they have of you inside their head. God did not give anybody the ability to read anybody's mind. So you have to say it. You have to speak it into being. You can't just be praying on your knees and doing nothing. You have to be doing something in order to show that you're faithful in order to receive what you have asked for. Faith without works is dead. Because if I can provide you with food and I can provide you with clothing, I can't read your mind to know that I must give it to you. Because one of the things I'm thinking, I might come now and offer you something and you might say I'm insulting you. But I need to know that you need it. Right? I can look on your circumstances and then I can offer it to you. But in some way, you have to show that you will receive it and want to accept it. We all have good gifts, but we have to use faith to exercise it. So we continue. If a brother or sister is naked and lack daily food, and one of you say to them, go in peace, keep warm and eat your fill, and yet you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it is as no works, it is dead. So faith without works is dead. I have to do something if I see you in a situation. I have to know, say that I am in a place to give. Let me give. You have to be in the place that you need to receive. You need to receive. It is both of us acting on something that faith has sparked. It is on us. And I continue to show this point as I go on. Hebrews 11:1 says, no, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Indeed, by faith, our ancestors receive a reward. By faith, we understand that the word, I don't really have to go there because I just want to focus on verse 1. No, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We are not going to see how things are going to play out in our life. We have to use faith to do it. We don't know how we are going to get from here to where we are. It does not matter if we live 2 minutes from here. We have no clue how we are going to go there. It is by faith we use to believe in God that he will protect us on our way. So faith is the evidence of things not seen, but hoped for. So we can't see the things that we really want to see. We can't see it. Abraham, he believed by faith. Did Abraham see Jesus? Apart from God saying to Abraham, I will make your generation like sands on the seashore. Apart from him hearing that, he knows that he will not see it. But by faith, he believes in things that is unseen. By faith, he believes. So we have to believe by faith that what we want or we hope for, it is in assurance to God to give it to us. But if the scripture also say a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you want something, and if you want a particular thing, let us say you want your family to be with you. You want your family to spend Thanksgiving with you. But your action is that you're pushing them away. You want them to come and you're saying, you know, I'm having Thanksgiving, I hope you can come. No, if you say you're hoping that the person can come, the person can say, oh, you're hoping that I can come, but I have other things to do. You don't really want me to be there. You're hoping. Then since you're hoping, you can continue to hope. I make my plan. But if you say to the person, I'm having a Thanksgiving dinner and I want all my family to be there so that we can celebrate the memory and the fun that we have had together. The person will say, this is better than my other plan. Being with my family is more important than going after my other desires. But you have to be assured, you have to show that assurance in what you're saying to the person, that you need the person there. So if you're double-minded, you're hoping that you're inviting the person and then you're hoping that the person come. You're double-minded in your thought. You have to be precise in what you're saying. That's how faith works. Faith works on precision. Bullseye. It don't work on hopefully this happen, hopefully this happen. Something else comes up in your life. You think it is a good idea, you run from that. Meanwhile, faith in what you wanted in the first place, the door has been opened, but they're opening slowly to supply your need. But something comes with a little more sugar, or it looks a little bit brighter, you rush off to that. What was in plan for you to receive is now pushed aside. because your mind is now distracted. Faith is confused about what it must do because you're double-minded in your thoughts and you're double-minded in your action. If you have one single focus, one single objective, one single path to get you to where you want to go, and you stick to that path, faith will constantly open door for you as you move along. And look in our lives, each of us look in our lives, that when we stick to something that we have asked for, and we show that stick to activity, that's not how the word is pronounced, but it's sticking to the path. Slowly by slowly, what you want happens. And then you say, how this happened? But it was your faith that you exercise with your works that gave you that. Many persons will, I talk to some, even my own self. If I had just remained, when back in Jamaica, and it's a very heartbreaking experience for me. I had a IS van. It's a big it's a, if you put in persons in there, it's around 15-seater van. And I loaned it to somebody. They did something to it. They brought it back. And I ended up fixing it, right? And say I'm gonna keep it. Did the same foolish thing again, lend it out. Same thing happened again. I fixed it. But in the last trip of fixing it, before I fixed it the second time, I went to a company because I'm a fiber optics I construct fiber optics cable. So we run fiber optics and join fiber optics together. So I went to a particular company to get a contract. I had the van then. I came. The van, the company said, we don't really need you right now, right? I said, the pressure of life came on to me with things. And I was at home with the van and looking at the van and said, I need some money more. I need some money. I need some cash. I sell the van for instant gratification. The day after, the man called me. I couldn't believe, my entire world fall off. If I had just stick with it, I'd have made more money by getting the contract than selling the van. I would have worked my money 10 times over. But I don't want to tell, I felt really bad. So faith without works is actually dead, and it costs you. It not only costs you financially, it also costs you emotionally. So sometimes the thing is hard to deal with, but if we remain faithful, God will open the path that He has set you on. I can imagine God in the heaven at that time. You see it? You just hold on and believe in me. I would have set things straight for you, but you believe in your own self. That's what happened to you. What can I tell God after that? I can't tell him anything. It's my fault. I have to accept it. So your faith and your works go together, despite of how difficult and challenging the times get. If you stick to what you plan, things will work out for those who love God. And I mark you, when I read Zig Ziglar, my favorite, Stephen Covey, Les Brown, They use the same faith that I should be using to get what they want. They are more faithful in using the faith that my God talk about than I use. When I when I started to read these motivational books, and I read Les Brown said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm saying, but he's not a Christian. He's not even going to church. Just write few books. He's making, and he shows you how he makes money. He can do all things through Christ who strengthens him. The power of belief in Christ. The power of belief in faith. That one day these things will come to pass. Your moment is not your actual reality. Your moment is not your actual reality. And sometimes some of us, and I'm not excluding myself, sometimes we're caught up in the moment and we're not thinking about the reality. The engineering of the wheel did not happen in one day. The engineering of the car did not happen in a day. It takes a period of time for it to reach where it is. And the car is not yet done. There are more features to be added to it. But the stick-to-itivity that will allow that person to develop these new ideas into the car. One day we will drive our car as our plane flies in the sky. Probably. Right? This remote, it was an idea. I think Nikola Tesla thought about it. Michelangelo thought about it, but they couldn't put the reality together. As time passes and technology builds up, then somebody realized, because when you in the olden days when you had this big light at the front, big bulb, you press it. Sometimes I used to press it. I used to look on the TV and press it and change the channel. When I was younger, I used to do that madness, right? But the remote has grown, and it will get grown. I was seeing a movie with even phone that is this, I don't remember what the name of the movie. I another time I'll tell you. But in the movie, I was so surprised because I didn't see anybody take out a cell phone and make any calls. So I was wondering to myself, how they make phone calls? Then a couple scenes pass, and then I see the guy do like this, rub his hand together like this. And then, suddenly right in front, it's like my eyes is seeing the person who I'm calling. I'm saying, whoa, what a technology. And you can see you and the other person side and side, and you're talking like you're talking to the person right here. I said, wow, the technology is gonna go there. You just swipe your finger. The guy said, swipe down, swipe up, swipe this way, it's on, swipe this way, it's off. Picture in picture, that is it. Picture in picture. It shows you, and I said, wow. Picture in a picture. So how these things develop. So the worldly people who don't believe in God, exercising faith to develop these things. So why we who believe in God can't exercise these faith so that we can receive what we want. Faith without works is dead. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. This path that we're on is a path of faith. We have not seen Jesus, and many examples that we will give to prove God is obsolete. They say, all right, we will say, all right, the clouds in the sky, look at nature, God created. People are saying, no, science, rain don't come. It's not God who make rain. Rain come from the sky. So they have a lot of way of explaining away that God exists or not. But despite of that, they still use faith to achieve their goal. So if they use faith to achieve their goal, we also, who have God and know that God exists and we have Jesus, we must show more faith than them, because the thing about it is that when they look on us, that should be faithful. They're saying how these person call them Christian and they call themselves Christian and they have no faith. Their lack of faith. We put God to shame and disgrace. So we have to exercise our faith, not just for ourselves, but for even those outside of the faith. So Mark 5:22. And now I'm going to get into some real faith stories. Because if these people did not exercise faith, what they want would not happen, would not come to pass. Mark, then one of the synagogue rulers named Jairus, you can help me with that name, came there, seeing Jesus, he fall at his feet and pleaded urgently with him. My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and come and heal and alive. So Jesus went with him. So in order for this, no, this is a man of faith. You know? This is a man who believes in God. This is a man who believes in God. This is a man who, this overall people should exercise faith. And he believed that Jesus have to come to his house in order to accomplish the miracle that he wants. And we can go to, sometimes I wonder why sometimes persons who are outside of the faith of God exercise more faith than those who are in the faith. Because this is a rule of the synagogue. And he could not say, God, if you say, I believe it. Like we continue further. So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him. And a woman was there who had been subjected to bleeding for 12 years. So imagine 12 years of embarrassment. I'm not familiar with this incident of why it happens or what is the medical terminology for it, but she was bleeding, right? I don't think it's it could be during her menstrual cycle or somewhere there that she bleeds. And but then you have to remember, she does not a case where you have stuff that women have today. You have to wrap a linen cloth around you, and if your flow is more than enough, it's embarrassing. You'd have to stay outside of the house, outside of the community, because back then in the patriarchal society, when the woman is in her cycle, she could not be in the house. She have to go away to a place by herself, and probably where she go will probably be lonely. So we have to think about what these persons were going through, the embarrassment that they faced. Because certainly, I remember one time I was in school and I was in a bus and I was sitting close to the driver, and I saw this girl. She just, the bus came to the bus stop. We were there for a while because in our country, when the bus comes to a stop, it does not move right away. It waits a little while to get some more passenger, then move on to the next bus stop. So I was in the bus and I was looking out, and I saw this girl cross the road as if she was going up the road or to the store or something. And then I saw her racing back and she was holding her shirt in front of her. I was saying to the driver why she was walking nicely up the road, and I don't see the need for her to be racing back like that. And he said to me, because I was very young, he said, son, you don't know what is happening. She's in her menstrual cycle and she's running back home to deal with. So it's an embarrassing feeling to have. So you can imagine this woman who have an excess of that, how embarrassing that to her. And look at what happened too. As we continued, she had suffered a great deal under care of many doctors and had spent all she had. So the doctors who supposed to help breaking her, they're taking advantage of her in order to help her out of her misery and her pain. They're using her as a cash cow. They're using her as a cash cow. Oh, the 12th of the month, so and so will come. My paycheck is set. They're using, the doctors are using this woman as a cash cow. And even in today, doctors is still doing it. They're still using an embarrassing situation for gain. So the situation has not changed. The mentality has not changed. Mentality is there still. So what is her fate? She wants her situation to be dealt with. She wants to be cured. And hence, by her faith, she put her faith in these doctors, hoping that they can help her. So she put her faith in it. And what she did, by her works, she worked to pay them till the point that she's broke. So her work and her faith in these men are displayed. Let us continue on. Instances of getting better. So I go down to verse 27. When she heard about Jesus, so she heard about Jesus. Why the writer said she heard about Jesus? Because she heard about Jesus and the miracles that he was doing. He was raising the dead. He was healing the sick. So Jesus became a public figure. And the public figure of Jesus did miracles. So hear what she said. And we must remember we must remember the circumstances. Jesus is leaving to go to the ruler of the synagogue's house. That's where he is going. And in the same instance, a lot of people crowding around him. Because when Jesus, some of the persons would have known that this man's child was near to death. And some of these persons were following something mock, either to mock or to see the, like when you do a magic trick, more people turn up for a magic trick than actual church service. If you say you have a magician in the town that will be in Worcester, more people would be at that magic trick show than you, and than rather you say, we will have church service on Saturday at 426 Comfort, Southbridge Street at Comfort. More people go for the magic tricks. So some of these persons are going to see the magic, to see the miracle. And in that time, there was no shortage of miracle workers. So hear what this woman says with her faith. She came up behind him in the crowd. So imagine, it's like you are at a football game. And you leave now to go to the cafeteria to get something to eat. During halftime, the place is crowded. You hardly can reach up to the front. That is the situation that this woman faced with her issue of blood. She said in the crowd and touch his garments, his cloak. Because, hear what she said now, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. If in all this, just imagine you wanting to get a hot dog during halftime of a football match. and you go down to the cafeteria area and you're hungry and you want your hot dog. You know how much work it would take you just to get to the front, just to make your order. It takes a lot of work. So she has to fight through all these people just to get to where Jesus is. And she's not saying that I can hold all of it. Just a little piece. If I can just touch the little hem of his garment, I know that I will be healed. Sometimes our faith calls for hard work. But if we don't do the hard work, we will not get the healing that we need. Because she has to fight through the crowd. Just imagine you have a stampede and you're trying to come out of the stampede. This is what this woman is in. It's a stampede. And she has to fight through just to read, just to touch, just stretch. Imagine when she's stretching, you have 10 people before her and she have to leap through the crowd more. Leap and just touch it. And when she touched Jesus, she was healed. Her faith and her works play together for her healing. And when these things happen, God does not take it for granted. God don't allow it to go unrecognized. So look what happened in verse 30. Because she got healed, she felt the healing in her body. And once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him, so the miracle worker realized that he has done a miracle, but to whom? He turned around in the crowd and asked, who touched my clothes? Here are the other people. Here verse 30. See the people crowding against you. You see, I think this is his disciple. See the people crowding against you. His disciple answered, and yet you can ask, who touched you? Jesus, what kind of mad question you're asking about who touched you? Everybody is touching you. Everybody is touching you. We are trying to fight them off from touching you anyway. And you are going to say that who touched you? As you can even imagine, this woman even have to fight through all the disciples of Jesus to get to him. It's like Jesus was surrounded by the bodyguard of his disciples, and she fight through that to get to him. But Jesus recognized that power left him. Verse 30 now. Jesus kept looking around to see who had touched him. And they show you the humanity of Jesus, that he does not know everything. Because if he didn't know who touched him, he would not be looking around to find out. But he was looking around because he wanted the woman to say something. Just as in our faith, we have to say something in order to get what we need. So Jesus was looking around because he wanted the response. He was asking because he wanted to hear what they have to say. He wants this woman to make her name known. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and trembled with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace, free from your suffering. Go in peace. That's all Jesus said. And her actions of faith is recorded. You know that the man in the synagogue ruler, his action of faith was never recorded. You notice? No mention of what he did. Was all about the woman. The story was all about the woman. While Jesus was still speaking, some men came from the house of... Oh, see guys around here, talk too quick. The synagogue ruler, your daughter is healed, they said. My brother, the teacher, anymore. why brother, the teacher anymore? I don't know why my student said. I ignore, but look at what happened. I ignore what they said. Jesus told the synagogue ruler, do not be afraid. Just believe. You see that? You see that? He did not believe. Even when God did this miracle, God did a miracle in this woman's life that was suffering for 12 years. And that miracle was displayed before him, and he did, and he saw the miracle, and someone came to him and tell him about his own daughter. And God have to look at him and tell him, do not be afraid, man. Just believe. Just believe. Just believe. And we continue to read it because it's quite an interesting story. Because, sometimes I don't know why religious people have such a hard time believing in God. Even though we say God. But I kind of jump ahead more than one time in this. So I'm not going to jump ahead. I'm going to take my little time because I have one more scripture and then that's it for today. He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brothers of James. When they came to the house of the synagogue ruler, Jesus saw a commotion. Sorry. Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, why is this commotion? And why is this commotion? Why is this commotion? The child is not dead, but asleep. I think I used a scripture in our presentation I did. So, and I was right when I say he did not believe, because he did not believe. If he had believed, I believe that Jesus would not have to go through all this trouble. But because he did not believe, God have to really go. Sometimes for some simple things, we take it so, as Mo said, we take some things for granted. Take a lot of things for granted. But his exercise of faith, you would admit with me, is not the same as the woman with the issue of blood. For his act of faith, you have to be present. Jesus himself have to be there. But let us look at another story in the final scripture that I will quote on this matter of faith. Mark 5:25. And listen, and I want to ask you, and that's why you have more women in the church than men, because women exercise faith more than men. We're zealous in what we do. And we carry our zeal to different levels. But a woman exercises more faith sometimes than men. I don't think I'm off with that. Because from my observation, there are more women exercising faith in the church. If you have a church of 20 persons, majority is women. Probably men have more things to do. Watch football and play domino or go to sports in event or hunting or whatever. They seem to have more time to spend doing those things and not have time to spend with God. Matthew 16:27. Thank you very much. And so sharp-minded you are. Jesus did not answer a word. So let us read our story from the very beginning. Leaving that place, Jesus drew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David. Remember, this is a Canaanite woman. This is a woman that should not believe in Jesus Christ. And by the way, we must remember that the Jews, the Israelite, kill off many of her people. So she had reason to be bitter about this Jewish man. So she did not, so she have to overcome her bitterness of what this race did to her race, of how they wiped out how many people. She have to overcome that bitterness. And sometimes, in order to our faith to become reality, we have to overcome those bitterness that we are having, so that to release the faith so that it can work. But if we have the malice and the strife, the faith will do nothing, because faith cannot work on these things. The faith need a free platform and a free a plain ground that is not filled with obstacles. Pure, right? Pure, plain ground. Just like a car. You can't put a race car on a bumpy track and expect it not to crash or destroy. It has to have a perfect track. Our faith has to have a perfect platform and a perfect foundation in order for it to work. And I'm talking to me. This woman have that because she overcome the genocide that this nation of Jews, of Israelites, carried out on her family. A Canaanite. And not only that, the Bible said that God himself tell them to do it. So she have to overcome that this God, which is this son of David, he who come from the Father, who command those things, she have to overcome that in order to call out to him. She have to create a level playing field to get to him so that her faith can work. From that vicinity to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession. Jesus did not answer a word. Can you imagine that? Even some of us, if we are going through the door and we open the door for somebody and the person shows no gratitude, I didn't say thanks, we're upset about it. I was seeing on Facebook, this guy opened the door for a girl. The girl came out and said nothing to him. The guy grabbed back the girl, put her back inside and closed the door. And I said, why? Look at that. Because she didn't say thanks. You have to you reverse the good you did. Oh my gosh. Jesus would know, so should he, he's a son of, she recognized that he's a son of God, you know. Son of David, the prophesied one. And the woman said, Son of David, Son of David. And Jesus not even appeared the courtesy to say, I hear you. Jesus not even. But I don't know about can any one of us in this room go through that? Because even we, you know, we are called to somebody, you know, and the person really not recognizing that we are calling to them, you know. We get upset, you know. Say, how can I'm calling you? You're not even saying anything. You're not even acknowledge that I'm calling you. But this woman now did not have that mentality. He did not have the mentality. Did not exactly on a mission. Jesus did not say a word. So his disciple came to him and argued. And I urged him, send her away. For she keeps crying out after us. It reached a point that now even the disciples can't bother with it. It's a bothering. It's a nuisance. So you can imagine, you know, you're leaving from here in Auburn to go to Worcester. And somebody calling out, Jane. After 2 times still, you know. Say, come on, man, get up, get real. Stop. People sometimes I hear call, Daddy. I said, sure. She alone knows her, and that is it. So if you know what your pain is, in order for your faith to be actualized, you have to stick to it. You have to know your pain and know what you want. You have to be decisive in what you want. Even when the close person to who you want the help from telling them, send them away, man. I don't do nothing. People say, don't do anything for them. Don't do anything for her, man. You have to still press on. I think there's a story in the Old Testament with a woman. Every time the woman come to the king, beg you, beg you, beg you. It came to a point that the king said, you know what? Just give her what she want, make she go away. Sometimes you have to be you have to be annoying to get what you want. This woman was annoying. But once you know what you want, you will get it. I coined this phrase. Your self-value, your mission has to be greater than your self-value. If you value yourself more than what you want, you will not get what you want. Your mission has to come first before you. If you want to get to the kingdom, your mission in getting to the kingdom has to be more valued. When you, Mama G and Mo, were looking for each other, there were some embarrassing moments that you have to go through. But if you did not persist, you would not have this wonderful relationship that you're having today. Being a nice couple and all. And serving, because I know that both of you have had many years of laughter and excitement and joy. Bad times, good times, and you're always there with each other. But you have to overcome those embarrassing moments to enjoy those times in your life. You have to overcome those embarrassing moments. She did overcome those embarrassing moments. Verse 21. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. So now you're adding insult to injury. Okay. We killed you. We killed you. And you're still coming to us to get help. We don't do that. So hear what Jesus, going to verse 5. The woman came and kneeled before him. Kneel before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. And Jesus called the woman dog, you know. He's not a normal, ordinary man, you know. This is the Son of the living God. Call the woman dog. Imagine if you're in service and the pastor just mentioned, he might do his sermon. He's doing his sermon and he mentioned something about something you said to him, but it's not you talking about. But you think it is you. You're upset and talking. So how can this man say he's serving God and he's in the pulpit preaching every Saturday and you create one commotion? Jesus, the Son of the living God, said to this woman, say to the woman, this is not right to toss the children's bread to the dogs. You can imagine the disciples saying, good, you get what you look for. You get what you deserve. This is what you were calling for. The master did the right thing. Call your dog. That is what you is. Run your way, man. You little dog. Go away. But hear the woman's reply. Yes, Lord. Humility. Yes, Lord, she said. But even the dog eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. That would melt any man's heart. Your mission has to be greater than your self-value. What is her mission? Her mission is to get her daughter healed, to get this demon out of her. If when Jesus called, when our disciples were saying, go away, leave, take away yourself. And when I said go away, Mama Jean, I mean go away. Go away. Mean go away. Eh? So run her away, man. Run her away. She have to overcome that. Then she have to overcome the embarrassment of shouting behind somebody that is not answering her. Then she have to overcome. And I'm telling you now, as I am standing here, I am not exactly sure. Yes, I might do a good demonstration of something in New York, but I'm not sure that I will do that again. I'm not sure, but I'm called to do it again. But I'm not sure. I'm being honest to God. Because I'm in a deep reflection and I'm saying, I seen in my mind, I was talking to the elder and I said, Elder, these people, I was wrath with the man. I confess to you and others who hear this, I was wrath because how dare you do that to me? But the elder, after talking and talking to me, I realized that although I was right, I could have spoiled that right by behaving opposite, by behaving my true self. And even now, if I behave that way, I would have nullified that right. But we are called to these things. If this woman can be called a dog by the Son of God, who are we? A Gentile at that, a Canaanite. She overcomes so much to get what she wanted. Faith without works is dead. Show me your faith and I can show you your works. Because both of them play together. Both of them work so that what you desire will come to actuality. But let us continue. Hear what Jesus said. Then Jesus answered, woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. Her daughter was healed from that very moment. The woman said nothing else to Jesus. You said it, miracle worker. I believe. The matter is settled in my mind. And she left. Nothing else was said about her again. Nothing else was said about her again. In order to get where you want to go, your faith has to work in tangent with your works. Faith without works is dead. Will we overcome as these women have overcome? These women of faith, these women of strong belief in God. Because I could tell you, with an egotistical man, if you said that to him, there would be a riot and a fight broke out. But the woman said nothing. She might have said thanks, but the scripture says nothing more of her. He just moved on. Jesus left there and went along to the Sea of Galilee. That's it. Just move on. If we believe, not if, when we believe that God is working on something in our life, we have to believe it, not in a double-minded state, because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let us believe by faith that whatever we ask for, we have received it by our faith. Thank you.